Hey everyone, so we're going to start our 1-1 notes with some vocab. So first, an expression is a group of terms with numbers and variables and operators. So this is an expression. They do not have an equal sign. So an expression has no equal sign whatsoever. It's just numbers like we were using in the order of operations. Those are numerical expressions. Ones that just have numbers and operators. Here, an expression in general has variables in it now too. So an equation, though, an equation is a math sentence that says two quantities are equal. And they must have an equal sign. And it's going to look like something like this. An inequality is a mathematical sentence that contains one of the following symbols. Something like less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, or not equal at all. So here's an example of an expression. An expression just has variables and numbers. It does not have an equal sign at all. Here an equation has an equal sign. It has variables, numbers, and an equal sign. An inequality has some variables, which are those letters right there. It has numbers, operators, and also an inequality because it has a less than or equal to sign. All right, some more vocab. A variable is a letter that represents a number who we do not know. Every variable has a coefficient. And this number is always in front of the letter that can be positive or negative. And it all depends on the number that's in front of it. If no number is written, then the coefficient is going to be 1. Awesome. Okay, looking at some more vocab. First, a constant is a number added or subtracted that doesn't have any variable at all. It's just a number, like this value up here. This -1, this -1 is a constant value. This 2 is a constant. Those variables are those letters right here. The coefficient's 10 or 4. All right, now a term is separated by a plus or a minus sign. It could be a single number, so a constant, a variable, or a product of a coefficient and a variable. And when I say product, I mean multiplied together. Now remember, an operation or an operator are the symbols for addition, multiplication, division, or subtraction. Okay? Looking at an example. All right, so looking at the number of terms. Here we're looking at the number of terms. We have each term has the variable and also a number with it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. And the terms are 2r, -3s, t, and a -4. We got 4 terms here. All right, variables, remember those are just the letters. So we have r and we have s. And t. The coefficients are the numbers that are in front of our variables. So looking here, we have a 2. It's everything included in front of that variable. So this whole thing here, that is my coefficient, including that sign in the front. So we have a -3. Now look at this guy. We don't have anything in front of this guy, but we said when there's no coefficient, that's always going to be a 1 there. Be like it's an imaginary 1. So the constant that we have is this -4 at the end. All right, looking at operators. Remember, operators are like the plus, the minus, the multiplication, and division. So we have a minus sign a plus sign, and also another minus. So we only have a minus and a plus. All right, another way of looking at this. So we're going to go through this again. So a number that's multiplied or stuck to the variable is always going to be the coefficient. So the coefficient is the number that's in the front of our variable. So an example here, my coefficient here is going to be 4. This is a number in front of my variable. Now, the tiny number on top of the variable, so looking at this guy here, it's called our exponent. We always read it as the power to the power of. So this would be to the power of 2 or to the power of 3 here. So this is called the exponent. Now, a symbol that shows an operation is just our operator. So for example, in here, we have a plus sign here. Here's my operator. Now, a letter that stands for an unknown number, it's going to be called a variable. For example, we have y here. Now, a number that's by itself with no variable attached, it is our constant term. Remember, our constant term is everything including that sign in the front. This is our constant term. And then we have parts of an expression separated by a plus or a minus sign. Those are all our terms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different terms. All right, if you want to highlight, you can, or you can circle. Now we're going to circle all the coefficients. So coefficients are the numbers in front of our variable. So here's 4. Now remember, you got to include the sign that's in front of them. So we have -8. We have 90. This one doesn't have a variable, so that one's not a coefficient. But 42 over here on the other side of the equal sign is. All right, and we're going to highlight and circle all the exponents. So remember, exponents are those little baby numbers. So here are my highlights. I have 3 and 2. Well, I also have this guy right here. That's like I'm having a 1y. So just like when we have a value in the front or a variable without any other number in the front, it's always going to be 1. Same thing with exponents. All right. We also have another exponent on the other side because here we don't have any other variables. So here is one more. That's like our little guy right here. We have an exponent of 1. All right. Take a look at operators. Operators, remember, those are like plus and or minus, multiplication, division. So here is one operator. Here is a second operator. And our third operator. Looking at our variables. So we have one variable here. We have a variable here. Remember, all those are letters that are involved. All right, we have our constant terms. Remember, our constants are the ones without any variables at all. So that is our plus 512. We only got one of those. And our terms, so remember, every term is going to be separated by a plus or a minus sign. So here's one term. Here's 2 terms. Remember, you include the sign in the front. Here's our third term, fourth, and then we also have our other term on the other side as well.